1 second. We have you like super quiet. Say something now.
I don't know. How are you guys doing?
Oh, pretty good. Let's see. Oh,
No, I think it's just very quiet. It's like, I think,
boost it.
yeah, like probably like 8 or something.
Where are you at right now, Derek?
Outside of Tucson, we're getting ready to go ride. So I'm just sitting in my truck right now. It's like crap. It's kind of a miserable ride.
Derek, are you on headphones right now? That I don't know if that's the reason, but you're coming in like it's almost like a whisper. I have you like way boosted on my end. Let's see. You are in. Oh, is he gone?
Ben, is that better, Ben?
Yeah, it's totally normal now. You might get some more live action today. We got Mr. McKnight joining the show.
Okay.
He's
We better get going.
All
then.
right.
we better get going.
Derek, there's a unmute button. Can you hit that real fast?
Are we actually live right now?
Oh, that sounds better, I think, Derek. Yeah, but we're in wait screen.
Are we? Good morning and welcome to the 2023 Day 4 update for the Arizona Trail 800-mile Showdown. How is everyone doing out there? I think we're still working some stuff out here. Are we good?
Give me 1 second on our audio.
No, we're not even live.
And we're back.
Go to the wait screen and start this over real quick. Good morning and welcome to Day 4 recap of the Arizona Trail 800-mile Showdown. I'm Jamil Curry here with my co-host Bryce Brooks. Good morning, Bryce.
Happy Halloween, Jamil.
Happy Halloween, everyone. We have an exciting show this morning. Michael McKnight is at mile 226, and he was out all night, so he crawled into the van at 4:32 a.m., and we're just going to go live right now to the van as he's just waking up to a nice jug of raw milk. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Well, yeah, you kind of got us. We had talked on the show last night or yesterday about doing the big push today. When Mike rolled into the trailhead that we were going to plan on maybe staying at, we kind of weighed the options of doing the push, the extra, combining a bigger section last night or today, and we decided to give it a roll. He wanted to give it a roll last night, so he pushed to Friedman Road, and that way, this is the way that the access points hit. He has 2:30s in a row, so he ate up one of those last night, and so today he'll be back on track for like a 60-mile section, and be to Picket Point, ready to sleep for the push tomorrow over the Superstitions. So So yeah. So I think we'll have to see how rolling the dice turns out. But he said he slept really well and feels pretty good. He ate a good amount of pancakes and some raw milk and used some compression boots. And now I'm about to tape his feet live on the morning show. So
This is Michael McKnight's morning routine on the Arizona Trail. Well, it looks like the Picket Post trailhead's around mile 288, and currently you guys are at 226. So to do my math right, I think that's like a 100K day.
Yeah, that's what we're shooting. That's what we're shooting for.
Nice, beautiful section, by the way. Like once you get past the Gila River, that some of the canyons in there are just amazing stuff.
Yeah, I'd say it's one of the highlights of the trail.
It's really awesome.
He like last year he did that with Derek, and I know you guys probably have Derek on the phone, but he did the Picket Post, opposite direction to the Gila River to Kelvin Bridge, I think it is.
Yep.
And just raved about how gorgeous it was. So he'll be hitting that towards the end of the day with the sunset. So I can only imagine that's just going to be another contrast day. That's going to be really rad.
That's awesome. Well, we'll let you maybe tape up his feet, Ben. We don't want to disrupt the morning, but we are going to go to the track leaders page real quick, and then we're going to touch base with Derek Lidle, who was outpacing him yesterday. So this is track leaders, trackleaders.com. You can find Michael McKnight on the homepage. We now have a new feature, so we've been trying to get this for a couple days. Thanks and shout out to the guys at Track Leaders. They actually got the ghost of String Bean on his FKT. They were able to obtain his GPX data, and he now has a little tracker. You can see this same amount of time elapsed since the start of his record-setting run. He would have been a little bit past the Gila River there, kind of heading into White Canyon wilderness area. And so you can kind of see now about, and it looks a bit shocking right now, but I think you got to bear in mind that, String Bean pulled that double going over Micah and Mount Lemmon in a day, and he encountered all that snow towards the end of the trail. He was actually in a hotel and had quit for, I think, 8 hours and just endless hours of post-holing that Michael McKnight will not have to contend with.
Right. I would say, it's about with the drive. Well, they had to drive all the way around, pick him up, drive him to the hotel, slept, drive back, start breaking trail. You got to imagine he
lost a day.
Right.
At least.
Right.
So I think Mike's sitting in a good place, especially if he's feeling good, taking care of himself. So we'll see. Obviously he pushed later than I think he wanted to last night, probably, but it could be a strategic move, especially if he's feeling okay. We'll check back in a little bit.
Yeah. But, as long as I feel like he's managing his sleep well. I feel like String Bean did hit the first half of the trail exceptionally hard as far as going out fast, doing those big days, like you said, where he hit Micah and Lemon. So, really, I do think Mike is in a good spot right now, especially if he does have some energy still, and it appears that he does based on the way he's been moving so far in the last day.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how long his day ends up being today and tonight before he gets to the van at Picket Post for that sleep. And then, of course, String Bean, I forget if he stopped there to sleep. His tracker here on the screen also does account for that. So, all right. Well, let's see. We want to check in with Derek Lidle now. He's coming to us from the Tucson area. Derek, good morning. How's it going?
Oh, it's good. Just nice windy day, but it's nice and cool out, so Mike will love that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Tell us a little bit about, have you been with Mike for a couple days? Did you just join him yesterday for that climb up Mount Lemmon?
Yeah, so I just joined him yesterday from Molino to Marshall Gulch. I was actually out at Javelina 100, so I wasn't
That's
able
right.
to see
I
the
saw you out
Saturday,
there.
But yeah, Javelina was fun, but it's also fun to see Mike out here on the trail. And Yeah, so we had a 3 a.m. Well, I guess we got up around 3 a.m. Started around 4 yesterday to go run that section. So it was beautiful.
And what section? What section? Oh, are you talking about Javelina or are you talking about Arizona Trail?
Arizona Trail.
Okay. What section did you run with them out there? Like, yeah, where were you at?
So I did, yeah, it was up on Mount Lemon. So it was Molino Basin to Marshall
got it.
Gulch. It was like a 21, 22-ish mile section.
And a lot of climbing, yeah? Or did you do the?
Yeah, I think we had like, it was about 6,000 feet of climbing,
Yeah.
I think. The trail kind of rolls in. There's some pretty steep climbs in there. And then some of it's a little convoluted because there's some burned out sections that are a little overgrown. But I think it's a lot better than when Ben did it last year. So that was nice. Like Mike's legs aren't all cut up and destroyed.
Good deal.
That's a good sign. How was his energy levels out there? His maybe leg soreness, or what's his general condition, both physically and mentally?
Oh man, he's in way better shape than last year, I think, physically and mentally. The mental outlook was the biggest thing that I noticed because last year doing the first couple 100 miles up near Flagstaff and stuff on the plateau is just really flat and kind of monotonous, minus the canyon. And this year he was just stoked to be up and down the mountains and see some different stuff, have some variety in there versus just trees, trees, trees. So he was pretty pumped about that. And I think physically too, he's doing really well. Like he complained for a second about the rocks and all the pokey stuff, but like that's Arizona.
Yeah.
But overall though, he was in good spirits and he was moving along. Like we just moved through that section and like the hours went by really fast. So he had a really good time, I think.
How was the water resources on the section that you paced through Lemon?
There's water at Hutch's Pool still, not as much as there normally is, but we didn't stop there. It's just a little bit off trail, and we had no need to. Like it was a really cool morning. Like temps were just pretty perfect, honestly. So we didn't really stop for water. He was carrying, I think, 4 liters with him. I carried 1.5 liters, and I was totally fine. Like it was just like really perfect temps. And then there was a little bit of a creek crossing at a certain point, but it was just a couple miles from the Marshall Gulch trailhead. And he just stopped to cool himself off, and the water was freezing, which was nice. But we didn't have to filter or anything. Like it was just kind of just smooth all the way through.
Has he so far had like pretty ideal weather like up to this point?
Yeah, he was saying like have been pretty good. Like today, like I was saying earlier, like it's cooled off quite a bit and it's windy out, which is nice for him because, as we all know, he hates the heat and he doesn't do that well in it, and he'll admit that himself. So I think he's kind of lucky now with this section where it's going to be cooler today and a little breezy. So it'll be good for him. But temps yesterday were just great, and I think overall they've been like pretty ideal as much as they can be, anyways, for such a variable trail.
Nice. We have some content that you sent us. We're going to pull that into the screen right now. Maybe you can walk us through it, but I think we got a couple video clips starting with the Primal show. There we go.
They're listening to us.
Yeah, Mike was trying to live stream the show yesterday because around 9 o'clock or so, he was like, "Oh, the show's on," and we had really poor service. And so I was actually trying to send you updates while I was out there, but the service is just like so hit or miss up on Lemon.
Yeah, I think
that didn't really come through.
I think I got like a text during the show that said Mount Lemon. But yeah, we didn't get any of that then. But yeah, this is just shows some of the pine trees up there. It's pretty cool. Let's check out the next clip.
Yeah, it's a really fun section because like you start kind of like lowish, desertish area where it's kind of like cactusy and stuff, and you get up in the ponderosas and the pines and stuff, and it's really beautiful to see the diversity of the mountain and just the area. So there's just some like iPhone like video and photos and stuff, obviously, but yeah, it was really cool to see that, and also to get up in the shade and see the colors changing in the trees was pretty incredible.
So yeah, we're taking a look here. He gets a little bit of an idea of what the trail's like up near Mount Lemon.
And Derek, is this on your way into Summerhaven?
Yeah, so that was probably like, we've been going for a few hours, maybe like mile 15 or 16 at that point. I don't remember exactly like how far in we were, but we had just done a bunch of climbing to get up to that point. And up there, the trail kind of like rolls a lot more.
That looks like the Wilderness of Rocks area.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a super cool section. Like, honestly, probably one of my most favorite sections of this area. Like, it's just incredible. And like, there's like little bits and pieces I've never been on before. So like, actually seeing that bit was my first time, and I was just blown away. And I kept talking, and Mike was probably annoyed with me, but I just kept saying how cool it was.
Well,
We were just kind of blown away.
Well, it just showcases like the Sky Islands for those of you tuning in that don't really know what that term is. Like, you know, Tucson is desert, but then you've got this just up the hill. You've got just these dense pine forests. And so that's kind of the cool thing about southern Arizona and the first third of the trail is you go from desert and then you have the Sky Island of forest type terrain at the top, and then you descend back down into the desert. It's just you kind of do that over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. You get to like 8,000 feet, which most people don't realize that. Like, Arizona has ponderosas, and there's bears up there, and mountain lions, and like just a lot of big game.
Beautiful shot there.
Sabino Canyon.
Yeah, it's kind of you're kind of above Sabino Canyon.
Yep. Capturing some views.
Yeah, honestly, it was a really pretty morning. It's a little hazy. I'm not sure why exactly, but it kind of made it cool to see all the layers and stuff and look out into like Oro Valley and Tucson and everything. And it was a really beautiful morning.
Is that a melted keto block in there, do you think?
Melted keto block, yeah, I think so. Definitely.
He's been doing pancakes with melted keto bricks over the top. It's like a ton of calories right in the morning.
Smart. Cool. That's all the content that we got from yesterday.
Awesome.
Anyway.
So yeah, that was a little bit of eyes on the trail. Let's check back in with Ben, see the update from the van real quick. Ben, how's everything going?
Good. He's feet are all taped up. I mean, there's not much to tape. You know, we've managed them pretty well. We're just trying to keep them managed. So just a couple little like tender spots that will take a little bit more of a beating than other spots, and make sure we mitigate that.
How's he doing? Staying out all night? Is he his energy levels good this morning?
Yeah, I think so. It was a roll of the dice. Believe me, we sat there and we very contemplated. It was going to be, so just to kind of give the viewers an idea. I mean, he started the day yesterday at 3 a.m. So he did a full 24-hour push. So, which is not ideal in obviously the game plan, but kind of where we were sitting as we're approaching the Superstitions and the Four Peaks and the Mazatals, the way that it's broken up, we would be like, if we hit it wrong, we would actually lose a half a day because of the access points so eventually he would have to do a 24-hour push. So we weighted the options. You do a 24, almost a big long push earlier, and then go into a better 60K day with like a 16-hour, like a regular 16-hour day, like we were planning. And now with like less vert in front of us, before we hit the Four Peaks and the Superstitions, each one of those will be a day. You know, you'll do Superstitions for one day from Rogers Trough over to the Roosevelt Lake, and then you'll do the Roosevelt Lake over to Highway 87, 84, something like that. And, you know, that's the Four Peaks, and get that done in a day. And then we'll go and do the Mazatals down to Pine, basically, in another day. And then we're back, then, you know, up on that plateau. So if we time it right, and it's not to where he has to push a big 24-hour day in those sections to get on sync, we pushed it in the desert where it's lower vert last night. So it wasn't taking a huge toll. It was at night in the cool temps. He got half of the desert done in the cold temps at night, so that now he'll hit this one. And today's a cooler day. So we're hoping we're strategizing. We're rolling. Obviously you're rolling the dice, you know, and I know you guys are everybody's watching Joe's tracker now, but we're trying to ignore that and stick into this plan, because the minute we get up on top of that plateau, And if he's saved that energy and that freshness, he can slowly kind of turn up the heat and increase that boil, and if not catch, or I mean, obviously he's going to surpass by the end Joe's time, especially on the other side of the Grand Canyon. But we're just trying to play it smart and not get all worked up by a ghost flying in front of us.
I think that's wise, and I think you guys are in a good position. I agree with what you're saying there about the ghost. Come 100%.
Okay, get by.
I think I'm going to let Ben do what Ben needs to do here.
Yeah.
Well, we're letting Mike get up. So
Oh,
he's
Yeah,
Gotcha.
ready to
please,
get up.
please. Go, Mike, go.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck today, Mike.
Go get him. Happy Halloween.
Thanks. Happy Halloween.
Is there a target checkpoint for this evening?
Picket post.
Picket post, right?
So yeah, like you were saying, I don't know. I really don't know where Joe slept. I mean, I know he slept last night at the bridge, according to the ghost or whatever like that. So he has a 35-mile section, but then he has an 18. Maybe, I don't know. Did he sleep at Rogers Trough? Was his crew able to get up there for him to sleep there? Because that would be, a 50-mile day. But if he pushed through it, that's a big 30-mile section over the Superstitions. If he did that plus, everything else he did. So I'm kind of interested to know, because it might, you never know, we might be on top of him in 2 days.
Yeah, we can maybe try and look that up. I think we have his Strava files we can take a look at and pinpoint his sleep locations. Are you guys planning as a crew to go up beyond Picket Post tomorrow before he hits the wilderness zones?
Yeah, so Rogers Trough
Yeah.
is about 16, 18 miles.
Superstition Wilderness begins.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Stop.
So that'll be tomorrow. I mean, the Superstitions are tomorrow.
Right.
And then Four Peaks the next day. Maybe even the first little section of the Mazatals also
Yep.
on Thursday, if everything goes right. Because really the Four Peaks is not that robust. But
Yeah, you've got the one climb up, and then I think it's traversing some dirt roads even, potentially.
yeah.
I haven't been
Yeah,
up there in
it's
a
not
long
too
time,
bad.
but yeah.
So I think we'll even get into the Mazatals. That would be the ideal.
Yeah,
There's
what is
a
it?
cruise
Mount
spot-
Peely Trailhead, is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you passed Lone Pine Trailhead up.
Yeah.
there,
I think
too.
that's where you guys went in last year to try and find him when he had that real low
Exactly.
day. Yep.
Yeah, that would be an ideal. That'd be an ideal spot. It'll be probably later in the evening, but we can get there. The sad thing is like it's a half mile from the trailhead or from the parking area to the trail. So he would end up putting on a half mile down to the crew and then a half mile back up. But it's really not that bad. But you know how it is. It's like you start to think about a half mile, you're like, that sucks.
Just
It's
bring
like
a sleeping bag up there,
yeah.
depending on how
But-
cold it is.
Yeah, so that's going to be ideal, and then that's going to the Mazatals is going to be the fun section when we start to get to LF Ranch and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the slower days on the trail for sure.
Yep.
Let's just do Martin Spring.
Martin Spring.
Yeah.
Beach. It's a long section.
We're just listening in.
Maybe like 6 or 8.
6 or 8.
Do 8.
What are we going to do 8?
Thanks.
4 beach.
Yes, please.
And he pretty much at this point has pacers at all times. Still.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
And that's the plan all the way through.
Yeah, that's the plan all the way through. We're actually very blessed to have a lot of volunteers and a lot of eager souls to go out and suffer with him. So to be a part of it. So yeah, we're doing really well, and we really appreciate it, and we appreciate everybody that comes out and says hi. And we've actually ran into a whole bunch of thru hikers, and it's been a lot of fun talking with them as well.
Are most of them heading southbound, or is it a combination?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all like, which way? Like, he's only how many days in, and these guys have like 2 weeks left, or like a week and a half left, 2 weeks left, and some have been in for 3 or 4 weeks, and he's gonna finish in next week.
Right. Yeah, he's doing in a couple days what might take them a week or two. That's wild.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the weather here for the next few sections. Superior, Flagstaff. It's pretty wild how ideal all the temperatures seem to be right now. Clear in Flagstaff, high in the high 60s, high to mid 60s. Superior is pretty similar. Seems like you really nailed the weather window on this one so far up to this point.
Yeah. I mean, that's the roll of the dice with these bigger, long efforts. It's like what's gonna transpire. It's almost like I heard Carl Meltzer when he did the AT, and I think I overheard him say something like it only rained once on him or something like that, or maybe not even that, but it was like they'd rain in front of him and rain behind him and stuff like that. But to go through the AT and not get rained on is like pretty incredible.
I didn't have a whole lot of weather when I did my AZT. I think I had there was just 2 moments. There was like an hour rainstorm one day, and then overnight snowstorm near the South Rim. We got like 6 inches of snow.
That would be exciting.
That was about it, though. Let's check back in with Derek real quick while Mike kind of gets finished up there. Derek, are you planning? Oh, can you hear us, Derek?
Let me see if I can refresh this.
And we're trying to get your audio back real quick, Derek. Give us 1 second. I was just going to ask. Oh. Derek, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. I'm here. Can you hear me?
For some reason, we're not hearing you. Anything?
Let's see. See if we could reset it.
We're having some audio issues here. Sorry, Derek.
We're gonna try and come back to you. Maybe in the meantime, we can check out some of the Instagram posts.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. Oh, I think
shout out of the show here.
Go back to the beginning, maybe. A lot of javelina content, actually. So this was up at Marshall Gulch yesterday. Mike coming through mile 188. Oh, this is a historic point. If you go back to that, that is where he ended his run last year. So that's got to be nice to get through there. And here is just some other stuff. Of course, he is raising money for Rod's Heroes. Check that out. And here is a shot from Derek. We looked at some of this content yesterday. A lot of love for Mike out there. Looks like another one of his pacers here from Jake. Climbing up to Mount Lemon. Looks like some incredible views out there. Oh, wow. That guy was out at Javelina, and then he went out to Tiger Mine Trailhead last night, looks like.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that dead mouse looking character out there.
Oh, here we go. So this was probably last night. American Flag Trailhead or Tiger Mine Trailhead, maybe. He's kind of gearing up there, looks like, before they set out for the night. Looks like we've got a story from Utah.
That's cool. Went all the way to 3 a.m. last night.
Yep.
And Derek's really getting some miles in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a big day. Pulling a 24-hour shift for sure. Let's actually go back to the van, to Ben's view. We got Mike out of the van there.
Just let me know if the wind's too much for Mike.
Ben, is he heading out?
Yep, he's heading out right now. We got a couple of volunteers that are heading back to the airport, and so he's giving them big thanks, and really appreciate him flying from Colorado out to support them for 3 days and run with them, and then head back. And so, you know,
it's awesome. Sounds windy out there.
Yeah. Just let me know if that's a problem with the mics or anything.
Oh, it's all good. We're just taking in the scene. So this is Freeman Road here.
Yeah, Freeman Road Trailhead.
That's a big water cache area. I remember I went and dropped water there for myself when I did the trail. There's usually a lot of people doing that because it's a long stretch through the desert.
Yeah, we got some through hikers back here that are kind of taking in the scene and everything and talking. I think we're kind of giving them some supplies and everything.
I remember the one water resupply that I had access to through this next section had an actual dead cow in it.
What's that?
Just said the one water source when I went through this section, there was a dead cow laying in the water source.
Oh my God.
And so we had to make a tough decision.
Did you?
I did not.
Good call. Good call.
Others did.
You're here today, so I think it could have gone a different way.
It sounds very windy out there.
Yep.
This was actually the only trailhead where I saw rain. The entire thing. There was a trail angel out there when we went through.
Did they give you anything good?
Oh, he had like crates and crates of soda. I drank
Nice.
so much Sprite it gave me dietary issues, but worth it.
Got the whole caravan there.
Just kind of waiting on the pacer.
Waiting on a pacer right now? All right. Tell him just to meet Mike down the trail.
Yeah,
Get this
you
guy
can just
going.
catch
Come on. He can catch up.
Problem is just if he gets lost and heads the wrong direction on the trail or something.
Yeah,
Who-
don't do that.
Who's the next pacer? Who's the next pacer going to be jumping in for Mike?
This is Brendan, the crazy lighted up mouse last night.
Oh,
Dead
nice.
mouse. All right.
Straight.
I figured he should be wearing that whole outfit the whole time, that like jogger outfit.
Absolutely.
Especially at night with the lights. It's just like a beacon you follow. So you said it was Brian?
What's that?
Said the name was Brian?
Brendan.
Brendan. So Brendan went from
So you just go.
McDowell Mountain Park straight down to Marshall Gulch, huh? Or Freeman Road.
Yeah.
Respect it.
Okay, you just go and we'll send him. He'll follow the feet print. Okay, you ready, Brendan? Right.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
See you guys.
We'll see you 27. Okay.
All right. So if you're just tuning in, Mike McKnight is setting out around mile 225 from Freeman Road Trailhead here. He's got Pacer in tow. They got about a 27-mile section. That'll probably bring him to the Gila River, Kelvin Bridge. And then you'll swap out Pacers. That'll be the next time he'll see the crew. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So a big haul through the desert. Fortunately, it's a nice cool morning out there. Got a nice breeze going, so probably should make pretty quick work of it. There's not a whole lot of climbing in that section, so it should be a pretty ideal morning.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely a net downhill.
Nice.
and like you mentioned earlier, Jamil, and it just stands out to me as outside of the Grand Canyon, in my opinion, the coolest section of the Arizona Trail. I love the superstitions, and I've been in them quite a bit, so maybe that's why. But when I think of the coolest section of the whole Arizona Trail, I think of Martinez Canyon. I think of that trip next to the Gila, shooting up to Picket Post. So I think it's going to be a fun Halloween for Mike and Brendan out there.
Awesome. Did we get Derek's working at all? We're going to check back in with Derek here real quick. Derek, we're giving it another shot here. Nothing. Can you hear us at least? Oh, I can hear him now. We just got to turn your volume up.
Yep.
Give us 1 second.
Boost this. How about now?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
There we go. That's better. Awesome. Derek, are you going to be joining Mike anywhere else along the trail, or are you off to your next project?
I may or may not. Like, I'm pretty busy with work right now, but I might swing up and see him around Flagstaff or something. It's pretty easy access. And I'd love to see him finish, but the drive up to the borders is forever.
Yeah. Are you based out of Tucson a lot these days? Uh-oh. Looks like we might.
I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't see you at all now.
I can still hear you.
Maybe I'm just live. It says I'm live.
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Sweet. Are you based out of Tucson part of the year now?
Yeah, part of the year, yeah.
Nice. Well, cool. When you've had a couple attempts yourself on the Arizona Trail, is that correct? Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I like how that's my claim to fame. Everybody always asks me about that. And I've attempted it a couple times, and I never finish. I always had like random issues come up, which is more of an excuse. But the trail's brutal, so anyone that's completed it, whether you're just through hiking 10 miles a day or like Joe or Mike, like it's pretty freaking incredible to push through it. Like, it's a gnarly trail for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, and one of the cool things, you don't have to do the whole trail to enjoy it or check it out. Like there's just, if you go to the Arizona Trail Association website, you can check out and just do it in segments. And a lot of people will actually do that where they'll hike it over a number of years to like get the whole trail done, it's a great way to see Arizona.
Yeah, like, it's really cool because it really does show the diversity of the state. Like we were talking about earlier, like up in the plateaus, it's amazing. The Sky Islands are amazing, but then like that section by Picket Post, like you were saying, Bryce, is honestly one of the most incredible places I've ever been. Like it's super fun to run, it's fun to ride. Like it's just incredible in so many ways.
That's awesome.
When you did it,
diverse. Like you just. Oh, go ahead.
were you sorry if I interrupted you there. Were you supported or unsupported when you did the attempt?
I was unsupported.
Okay.
So I was just self-supported.
Yep.
Technically.
Yep. So you weren't carrying your food for the entire time?
Oh no, dude! Like I think last year some guy did that, and I think he was carrying 2 packs with him or something, and I was just like I looked into the logistics of that, and I was just like, this is insane. Like that just sounds miserable, but he did it. It's like more power to him.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that, I think, with Josh Perry maybe,
Yep.
or someone else, and I need to look up that whole story. I think actually Allison from Fastest No Time did a podcast with him, but they were saying it was like maybe 80 to 90 pounds. Like he had enough food for 28 days with him at the start. I can't even imagine that.
It's so much weight. Like even just like these sections where you have to haul a lot of water. Like your pack is heavy, but then you add in 30 days of food. Like
Yeah.
This is ridiculous, honestly. It's so much.
I had, I think, 2 stretches on the AZT. I tried not to pull from those cattle ponds and that nasty stock tanks. I think I had 2.5 gallons with me 2 different times, which got me through some nasty sections for sure.
It's a little different. I think your perspective on it's different, Jamil, just because when you did it, these are very early days of the trail. And
It wasn't done yet officially.
Right.
It was still being built.
So you didn't have access to Far Out, Gut Hook, these resources that we take for granted. maybe as current through hikers, that just, it's like, I mean, a guidebook that's like live updates.
I had like an old guidebook, which I tore out chapters and mailed myself. And then I was friends with someone who had done the trail, and he had these like the old National Geographic software. You had to have it on like CD-ROMs. And then it was like passed down to me, and he had the future trail segment. So I tried to follow those through the desert.
Yeah.
Which was just a bad idea. But yeah, it was definitely a different time. And there was like no through hiking culture around the Arizona Trail. I mean, I literally saw, I think, 2 other through hikers the entire 31 days I was out there. And I only spent, I spent one night camping by someone that was on the trail.
That's
Other
so
than that,
wild.
it was like I would randomly see a day hiker, maybe.
Yeah.
Some days saw no one.
And I think that's a testament to the Arizona Trail Association and like what they've been able to put together with limited government funding. A lot of it's volunteers, people out there, stewards of trails, or out there working on the trails. So, and culture, like you said. So big shout out to them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Derek, do you have anything else you want to add or shout out to Mike? Any other observations?
Really, I'm just stoked for him. Like, he's in such a good space this year, physically and mentally, and it's been on his mind ever since he dropped last year. And kind of pulling him into Marshall Gulch, where, like you guys were saying, he had dropped the prior year. It was just cool to see him kind of like, almost in a sense, come full circle and be back to that spot and like pass that mental barrier of like, okay, I can do this trail now. Because he kept commenting on how familiar the trail will be from now on, and like, yeah, it is the opposite direction, but at least he knows what's coming. And I think for him mentally, that was just a big milestone to get to. And now he's just kind of like, okay, let's crush this at this point.
I mean, I think something like any long trail or even any ultra distance race, I mean, having those milestones to check off as you go is so important. And this seems like, yeah, that's a pretty big one. And like you said, now he's familiar with the trail. He knows at least what's ahead. He can prepare himself. And now he has a lot of little milestones, I'm sure, as he goes like, oh, this happened here. I know he's looking forward to meeting Jeff Browning up in Flagstaff. So there's definitely a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, definitely. And the temps are definitely suited for him right now. So that's just a big relief, because I know when he first started, I was actually up at his house in Utah, and we were checking out the weather. And my friend Kylie down here in Tucson was saying that it was like 100 degrees, and he was kind of freaking out for a minute, but things panned out for him. So it's all good.
Do you, when you're out there, this is kind of like a subjective question, I guess, but do you still see that fire in his eye? Like he's ready to attack the trail? I remember during Cocodona, I saw him early on when he wasn't doing great. And then I saw him at Munns Park, which is mile 200 plus into the race. And you could just tell that he was ready to go to just like dig deep in the tank. He still had a lot of fuel left. Do you think he's in a good place mentally right now, and he's ready to attack the last 2/3 of the trail at this point?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like yesterday when we were out pacing, like we chit chatted about nonsense for a while, like you always do when you're pacing. But then it always came back to like, okay, I'm moving this much, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Like I'm eating, I'm drinking, I'm doing all these things. Like it's just on his mind like constantly, and so definitely that fire is there. And I think like he's pacing himself properly, but also being like a little bit slower than Joe is also like a push for him. Not say that he's being slow, but he's just being more methodical about it.
Yep.
But being a little bit behind is kind of like, okay, I'm going to do this, and that's all that's on his mind right now.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, Derek, thanks so much for checking in, taking the time, and sending us some of those videos over. I think we're going to check in with Ben one last time before we close out today's show.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome.
Thanks for chatting, Derek.
Yep, see ya.
Unmute Ben over there. Ben, we're back with you.
Awesome.
Any other closing thoughts?
No, I just, I hope the viewers, I guess, kind of feel not tension, but just like the excitement, but at the same time, like there's no like real like right way. It's almost like a choose your own adventure story, and you're just trying to figure it out as you go, which is the right way, making choices that could be detrimental, but could be huge wins and successes. And so it's, you just kind of, you're evaluating the risks, and you're just, and you're trying to feed off of Mike, trying to see how he's doing. Like, how is he really doing? Is he, you know, and so it just, I think it's a really, I don't know if they get the same sense as what we get here as the crew, but it's pretty exciting, pretty, just, I think it's amazing. So it's awesome to be a part of these big projects.
Yeah, that's great. It's been super fun so far. We're really looking forward to it. And yeah, we'll be tuning in tomorrow, probably check in from the Superior area. We're really looking forward to that.
Are we going to be graced by your presence, Jamil, or is that 100 miles beat you up too bad to come out?
We'll see. Yeah, I'm not sure at the moment what's going to happen. We'll see where you guys end up tonight, and who knows? I know I'll be out trick-or-treating this evening, but
okay,
we'll see.
Well, maybe we could see you right around that Roosevelt section or something like that. If you make a quick trip out or something like that, maybe. I know you can't really do a live show. I guess you could do a live show out there. But.
I mean, yeah, Picket Post is only about 45 minutes from where we are here in the office. And then there's another, like Sunflower would be about 45 minutes.
Yep.
It's funny, when I was on the Arizona Trail, I was picked up from Picket Post, driven to town, slept in my own bed, did laundry, driven right back out to the trailhead the next morning. I did that at Sunflower as well. So it was kind of a nice little break.
Yeah, if everything goes well today, I mean, obviously it'll be a late night at Picket Post, but we'll be there way early if anybody wants to come out and just hang out.
Yeah, nice.
But it is Halloween, I understand. So
Cool. Awesome, Ben. Well, best of luck today. We'll be following the tracker, and thank you again.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ben.
All right.
Wrap it up.
Yeah. Great day. Yeah, interesting to see him push through the night there.
Yeah.
I don't think that was expected, although you, myself, and Jeff Garmeyer were chatting that, man, we were doing the math yesterday, and he's going to be done way early at Tiger Mine Trailhead, and I think he was there like at 8 p.m. or something.
Right.
So it seems like kind of silly to call it a night at 8 p.m.
Especially if you're not feeling tired enough to just immediately fall asleep.
Yeah, and not too fatigued. And we were, this is just like a commentary aside, we were kind of questioning him and his setup for sleep out on the trail.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't seem like they have a setup for him to crash out on the trail. Like he has to get to the van. And I think that's an interesting thing to think about for self-supported efforts versus supported efforts.
Sure.
And I think if there's an athlete out there that can do it in a self-supported mindset and have that experience, but then also be supported by a crew, I think it could be the best of both worlds.
Adds that flexibility.
Yeah.
I do see that it could be at some points a benefit. Like maybe it'll make you push a little bit extra farther if you want to get to that next crew checkpoint than you would have otherwise.
Yeah.
But it
like
really
an extra carrot.
Yeah, it really just comes down to timing. If you get there too early in the day and there's sun and it's hot, and you're probably less likely to get some sleep. But I do agree that flexibility, having the option to just like lay down wherever you want.
Yeah, you can always eke out a few more miles, and we'll see. I mean, we'll see, I guess, today or tomorrow how that 24-hour push affects Mike. Like,
yeah.
He no doubt was tired out there, probably maybe moving a little slower than normal. I haven't looked at the split points, but we're also talking about a guy here that has won, a ton of 200-mile races, and he's used to going on no sleep. So it's just a matter of, like, has he dipped into those reserves to a point that it's going to affect him? Because he's still got, about 8 days left of this thing.
And he's proved this, like having undoubtedly, or debatably, I guess, the best comeback in a 200-miler of all time. I mean, coming from the brink of death in Prescott and I saw him in Munns Park, literally bouncing. Like his stride looks so fresh. So, I mean, he's got it in him. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Well, to all of you out there, we really appreciate you tuning in, and be sure subscribe to the Mountain Outpost YouTube channel if you enjoy this content and you want more of this coverage. Share it around as well. It's going to be, I think, I've got a good feeling about it this year. It seems like all the pieces are coming together right now.
And still so early on.
It is early.
You know, like 1/3 of the way through, maybe, if that.
Yeah, he'll cross the third point today, I believe. If he's around 2:30, trying to do the math on that, it's pretty close. So, good stuff. Well, I think that's going to end it for today.
We'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m.
All righty.